Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me at the end of May, so May 22nd to May 31st. I only have eBay sales to share with you, so I'm going to lean up against this wall because I want to, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So of course the first sale I'm going to share with you is a book. It is The Big Little World of Doc Pridham, and this was a very old book, you know, over 50 years old. It's from 1971, and I originally picked this up because I thought it would sell for more. And it would have if I had noticed the condition issues prior, but I did not. But it still sold for $9.87. I paid $1 for this at a thrift store. This actually went back to Maine, so this is a story about a doctor in Maine, like a small country doctor. I think like Doc Holliday, but not Doc Holliday because they were always a small, like, town doctor. Anyway, I'm giving you too much background information about a book you will probably never read, but I did think about reading this and keeping it because of the condition issues, but I just decided to listen, and it did sell, so awesome. This is a Lacoste shirt. I pick up Lacoste whenever I find it at the bins, which is where this one was found, and it did not sell on Whatnot, but it sold for my full asking price of $17.87 on eBay. Men's, women's, when I find real Lacoste, it sells, and it normally sells pretty quickly for me, so it's normally, the women's is normally bread and butter, unless you get like the long dresses, and then if it's a Y2K long dress, probably will do a little bit better, but the men's is normally what does better for me. This is another Whatnot, where I bought this originally for Whatnot show, offered up for sale on Whatnot, didn't sell on Whatnot, but it sold on eBay. It sold for my full asking price of $9.87. This is His Father's Son by Nigel Bennett and P. and Elrod. It's a Baen hardcover. Paid 50 cents for this at the bins. This is a set of 3 Ernest Hemingway books. 3 is the magic number, it seems, for these. These were all trade paperback books. They were 2 modern printings. They weren't even modern. They were like literal 90s printings. And then the oldest one that I have in the middle is actually a 1960s copy. They're all trade paperbacks, so I put them all together, and it was For Whom the Bell Tolls, A Pharaoh's Arms, and Old Man by the Sea. And I do have Nancy to thank for that sale, so Nancy, thank you very much. I sent out an offer to watchers, and Nancy scooped them up for the $15.18. So Nancy, thank you very much. I hope you've gotten a chance to read them. I do like Ernest Hemingway. He is considered a classic American author for a reason. I do like his writing style. So Nancy, thank you very much. This is the 3rd book in the Lightbringer trilogy by Brent Weeks, and this was a first edition hardcover. I paid 50 cents for this, and it sold for $10.87. Again, it cost me $5 to ship this, and I had put this on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot, but it sold on eBay. Perfectly happy to make slightly more money on eBay than on Whatnot. But I try to put most of my genre fiction on Whatnot first, and then if it doesn't sell on Whatnot, I'm more than happy to list most of it on eBay. I mentioned in my last What Sold video that I got a bunch of free shower curtains from my partner's landlord, because he had a commercial warehouse that he was clearing out, and the previous tenant left a bunch of stuff in it. And so I got these for free, and so just like with the last What Sold video, I sold a bunch of these shower curtains, so I'm just gonna go through them really fast. The first sale is that this person sent me an offer of $9 per shower curtain, and for 5 of them, and I was like, well, I got them for free. Yes, you can have them. So I sold 5 of them for $45, and then of course the buyer paid for shipping. Someone offered me $10 for a single shower curtain. I said yes again, and of course they also paid for shipping. And then I had someone buy a shower curtain for full price, so $14.87, and they also paid for shipping, which is also very exciting for me. Another person also paid full price for a shower curtain of $14.87, so I had 2 full price sales, and then I accepted 2 offers. But yeah, I think that that's amazing that I've made, you know, another $90 pretty much off of a bunch of free shower curtains. So that was an amazing find, an amazing gift. So again, Tommy, I know you don't watch my videos, but if you ever do, thank you. That was really kind of you to let us go through your warehouse and also to offer that to us. This is Mizzen in Maine. I've only found Mizzen in Maine, I think, twice. This was my 2nd time. This was a men's medium trim fit plaid button front shirt, sold for my full asking price of $24.87. pretty quickly after I listed it, so I thought that was great. This is a pair of Birkenstocks. These were brand new. This is an instance of retail arbitrage. I don't do it very often because I'm not good at it. This is one of the few instances where, you know, I did make a decent amount of money very quickly after I listed the item. These are the Selena glitter sandals in a size 6, 6.5 because Birkenstock does their sizing by EU sizes. Sold for $84.87. I paid $50 for these. So I didn't make a lot of profit, but I did make it quickly, and you know, with retail arbitrage, that's still great. Personally, I feel like that's great. I have another viewer sale to share with you. Julie, thank you so much. She bought these two items from me. She bought this vintage 60s spice rack that I picked up at an estate sale for, I believe, $4. And then also this pair of 90s Bob Timberlake shorts, these patchwork plaid shorts, very typical of the 90s, and she paid $19.87 for those. So I really appreciate you, Julie, buying these from me, and thank you so much, and I hope you're enjoying them. I've talked about before that whenever I'm at the bins and I find these little pocket hardcovers, these were printed in the late 90s and the aughts by Barnes & Noble. It was like a little mini pocket library, and they had a whole bunch of classics. The ones I don't keep, I do sell, and they sell for a lot more than they originally sold for at Barnes & Noble. This sold for $12.87, and of course I do have free shipping on all of my, well, on almost all of my books, because I do have buy 3 get 1 free in my store in the hopes that if they buy more, it saves me in the shipping. But really happy, I always pick those up. I know they're always going to be a quick sale. Speaking of something I always pick up at the bins when I find it, are book journals. So blank journals about the books they've read. This is actually the second time I have bought and sold this exact journal at the bins, and I picked up 2 of them at the bins, and somebody bought both of them for my full asking price. So $19.74. I have $1. Well, actually, no, these were soft covers, so I have 50 cents into these 2 journals, and because of the fact that they bought 2, of course I shaved on shipping, so I made, you know, $15 off of the sale, which I think is great. Again, another pocket classic, hardcover classic is Gramercy Classics. So I showed you the Barnes & Noble Classics before, but this is Gramercy Classics. These are not as common here in the States. I believe this is like an English printing, but this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and it sold for $13.87, and again I have 50 cents into this book. And these Gramercy Classics do not have barcodes on them, so if you're an Amazon FBA seller, you would just skip by this, which, you know, for me is great. This is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, which got turned into a movie with Tom Hanks as the main character. This was brand new, and I picked this up for 10 cents, and it sold for $8.47. So this was a great sale for me. Again, I'm able to offer more modern fiction and also fiction that's like really popular right now at a good price, so that was great. I am not afraid to sell vintage clothing if there is no label inside. For vintage clothing, normally it is the style that matters more than the brand, although if you get a double whammy, that can make it even more valuable. This was a handmade 1960s dress. I actually got this at the Dab in Hampton, and there were a bunch of vintage handmade dresses that were donated by someone, I'm guessing, who had passed away. This was a modern size 2 based on the measurements. So when you're doing sizing based on measurements with handmade items, you always size by the smallest measurement on the garment, because that is where you're going to have the restriction for the size, because that's just the safest way to do that. So that is what I did here, and it did sell for my full asking price of $29.87. Hooray me! Speaking of vintage, this is a 70s tie. I picked this up in a big lot of ties that I bought all at the same time. I paid $1.50 per tie. This one sold pretty much as soon as I listed it for $10.09. I sent out offers to watchers and they scooped this up. This is a shirt I got at Diversity when I went with Addison and Melissa and my friend Brandon. I paid $1 for the shirt because Diversity Power Hour, everything is $1 for an hour and it's amazing. This is Tori Richard. It was a 2XL silk linen blend and it sold for $18.59. This next item is a faux leather devotional. It was brand new. I picked this up at the bins. I paid 25 cents for this and it sold for $10.87. I actually find brand new stuff, brand new books all the time at the bins. Most common is devotion, religious, or a Bible. Sometimes I'll even find them still in their original case, so I pick them up and sell them because I think that that's great that I can do that. So this is Tree Torn. Most people pass on this brand when they see it because they think it is a knockoff Converse. It is not, as it is its own brand, which is with its own following. And this was a women's size 7, UK 5, EU 38, and they sold for $25. I picked these up at the bins for $3.50. So that is why I was able to pick them up, is because of the fact that, again, they get passed on because they think they're knockoff Converse, and because I know they're not knockoff Converse, I'm able to scoop them up, and I always do that. This is a Duluth trading shirt. It is a 3X, and this is a pickup that sold as soon as I listed it, and that sold for my full asking price of $29.87. And I picked that up at a Goodwill, and I paid $5.40 because that was cost averaging. This is a CNC of California women's small striped linen pair of pants. I picked these up hoping they would fit me. While they did fit up here, they did not fit in length, which is always my problem when it comes to pants. Normally, if they fit, they'll fit great in one place, but they'll always either be too short or too low, or they won't fit around the waist, or they won't fit my butt. It's me and pants. That's why I don't wear pants most of the times, because I can't find them. They sold for $9. I originally paid $5 for these. I know I'm not making a whole bunch of profit, but if I can get a good pair of pants out of my attempts at finding pants, it's worth it. And I know I can always sell it if it doesn't work out for me, which is what I did here. This is another new book. This is Beloved by Toni Morrison, and I bought this at that big book buyout I did, so I also have 10 cents into this book. Sold for my full asking price of $14.87. So I thought, again, I've made so much money off of that big book buyout. I really wish I had another opportunity like that this year. Maybe I will. Another new book, again, I picked it at the big book buyout. I sold this for $10. This is The Prestige by Christopher Priest, which was made into a movie with Christian Bale. Prestige, sold for $10. This is an Untuck It shirt. I also got this, I believe, at Diversity. I paid $1 for it. It sold for $17.87. This did have a flaw. It had a tiny hole in it, which I didn't spot until after I checked out and did the haul for it. But that's okay. It still sold for my full asking price, so Untuck It will sell, even slightly flawed, but it was a little tiny hole, so no big deal. This is an instance where retail arbitrage didn't necessarily work out in my favor. This is a pair of new Levi's. They were paint splattered. They were a light wash. I thought that, okay, that's men's light wash, denim, paint splatter, distressed is still in right now, and they were like the relaxed fit, so they were baggy. I was like, these will totally sell. Not so much. This is the only pair I've sold so far. I did pay $15 for these pants, and I sold them for $21. So after fees, not really making it, but I at least made my money back and a little bit of profit. Again, I'm not good at retail arbitrage. That's why I don't do it. I try, like once or twice a year I'll try, and it's never a home run. It's always like a, man, I'm so glad I got my money back every time. This is a complete field guide to American wildlife from 1959. I will pick up these vintage wildlife guides when I find them. This sold for $8.39, and I paid 50 cents for that at the bins. Another Diversity find. I paid $1 for this. This is Vince. Vince is not a brand I would necessarily pick up unless it was unbelievably cheap, because it doesn't sell for very much. But it did sell very quickly because, again, I had it priced very reasonably since I only paid $1 for it. Sold for my full asking price of $16.87. This is a dress that I decided to give a try. I actually bought this when I went to the bins with Courtney from Common Tags. Her bins prices were like $2.29, I think, when we went, which is a lot more than the $1.29 at my bins. But I did pick up this dress to try, and it did sell for $18. So I paid probably $2 for this dress and sold it for $18. It did take a while to sell, 2 years, but it sold, so hooray! These are 2 books that I picked up at the bins as well, so I have $1 into the books. They sold for $12.87. I made only like $5 off of this sale. I'm going to pick these books up whenever I find them because they are books that I have myself. I've not read the entire series. I'm missing 2 books out of this series. Middle school age series about a little girl who disguises herself as a boy, and because she was basically a street urchin, and disguises herself a boy to get on board a ship, and then through her many adventures she becomes a captain of her own ship, and then becomes an admiral. It's really cool. It's a really cool book series. I own it. I'm missing 2 of them. They're not in print anymore. So one day I'll find the hardcover. I have all the hardcovers except for 2. So I'll pick these up because they hold a special place in my heart. So yeah, that was, again, more information you needed to know about those books that you'll probably not pick up for yourself. This is a loft shirt. I picked this up at the bins. I put it up for sale on Whatnot. It did not sell on Whatnot, so I put it up for sale on eBay, and it sold for $10.30. So again, anything that I pick up at the bins that I'm putting up on Whatnot is something that I'm more than happy to list myself and sell myself. These are 2 brand new Barbara Hamberly books. I picked these up for $1 a piece. They were brand new. I did put these up for sale on Whatnot first. They did not sell on Whatnot, but they did sell on eBay. Somebody bundled them together, which again is, I think, great, because that means I only had to pay $5 for shipping, and so I made more money off of the sale of these books because they bundled them together, and that is what I'm trying to do here in my eBay store. I'm trying to get more books in my eBay store, so it's more likely for that to happen. Another CNC California dress, and it sold for $15. I just thought it was beautiful. I figured it would sell because it's linen. It was bright and colorful. It had pockets, and it was, you know, a size medium, and it sold for $15. So I was right on all accords, and it sold very quickly. So this is Diana Gabaldon's Voyager, which is the 3rd book in the Outlander series, which is a TV show wildly popular, not only as a book, but as a TV show. And it sold for $8.47. I originally offered this up on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay. So I will pick these up when they're in good shape. It's just most of the time when I find these books, they are tattered. And again, Rob, if you're watching, thank you again so much. He actually recently gifted me the entire 1 through 8 hardcovers. If you did not see that video, it's because it's on my book channel, which I will link up above if you are interested to watch me get an absolutely insane present. Another linen piece. This is a J. Crew factory linen shirt. It sold for $12.87. I actually got this for free from Melissa, so Melissa, thank you very much. This is a Free People pair of pants. You guys told me to put in the title barrel-legged. Thank you so much for those of you that told me when I did this haul. I just thought these pants were weird, and they were linen. They were linen cotton blend, even though they were extra small. I decided to give them a try, and you guys were right. If I put barrel-legged in the title, they did sell very quickly. So they sold for $20, and that was a good experiment. And again, another reason why I like doing these videos is because I learn as much from you guys as you guys learn from me. So thank you. This is a comfy. I paid $7 for this at the Goodwill in Williamsburg. This was the size large. This was an adult size comfy, and it sold for $29.87. There are kid size comfies and there are adult size comfies. You do have to check to make sure which is which. And that is, the reason why I say that is because the person that bought this actually messaged me multiple times checking and double checking that this was the adult comfy, because they apparently had bought multiple kids comfies. But yeah, sold it for $30. Thought that was amazing. Chick-fil-A shirts. This is a manager shirt and a size extra large. I found that at the same Goodwill I found the comfy at. I paid $5.25 for this shirt. Sold it for $12. This Lands End shirt was a bins find. So I have $1 into the shirt. It's just, you know, super rare to get a white shirt that doesn't have any stains on it. And I found one, and it had these like little seashell patterns. It was a size extra large. It was Land's End. I've talked about it before. I'll pick up Land's End, Eddie Bauer, Columbia at the bins if I find them in good condition, because they do sell for me, and it did. It sold for $10 and can't be happier about that. This next item is a Vuori pair of shorts. This is the only time I have found Vuori, and it flipped the day I listed it. I decided to go ahead and accept an offer. I know I could have held out for full price, but you know, I'm fine with it flipping the same day. I still made an amazing profit off of this, in my personal opinion, for $30, selling it for $30. So I'm more than happy with that. I now know why everybody here on reselling YouTube loves Vuori, especially if it all sells that quickly. And the last item to share with you is this J. Crew piece. It is a vintage Indian Madras plaid shirt. It is a men's small. It sold for $14.87. And I picked this up at the bins, so I have like $1 into the shirt. But that is everything I sold at the end of May, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope summer slowdown isn't hitting you all too hard. You know, May started out slow for me, but it ended very strongly, and hopefully I will one day catch up my what sold videos again. So you guys are seeing what I'm selling in real time instead of, you know, 2 months from now. But hey, it means that if anybody returns anything, you guys don't get confused, because, you know, it's already been returned and I just don't include it in these videos. So that's been a thing. That's been a thing in May. That was a big thing in May, actually. So not necessarily a negative thing that I'm behind on what sold videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye. Bye. Moxie also says bye. Bye. Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero, hero. Oh, the hero comes, I can hear the drums, and a horse is drawn to the kingdom come through the pale moonlight. My heart's ignite to the core.